Hey everyone, and welcome back. So, in our How the Web Works explainer, we kind of took that 30,000-foot view of the internet's request and response cycle. It's this huge, amazing process. But today, we're zooming way in. We're going to demystify 4 key terms: host, server, port, and localhost. Trust me, these are the absolute bedrock of web development and troubleshooting. Okay, let's get into it.
So, if you're learning to code, I am positive you have seen this pop up in your address bar. You type it in, hit enter, and it just works. But what is a localhost? And what's with the colon and the number? By the end of this, you're going to know exactly what you're telling your computer to do.
All right, first things first, let's talk about the where. To make any of this work, we need an address. And in the world of networks, that's called the host.
So what even is a host? It's not some, mystical thing floating in the cloud. It's just a computer or a device, your laptop, a huge server in a data center, even your smartphone, as long as it's connected to a network. If it can send data or receive data, boom, it's a host. It has an address.
The best way to think about it is this. If you want to mail a package, you need a street address, right? Well, on the internet, if you want to send some data, you need a host's IP address. It's the unique destination for your request on this massive map we call the internet. The host is the building. Simple as that. Okay, so we found the right building. We're at the host. But what are we actually here for? We're looking for a specific service, and that service is provided by a server.
Now this right here is a super common point of confusion, so let's clear it up. The word server gets used for 2 different but related things. First, it can mean the actual physical hardware, that big, powerful computer that's built to run 24/7. But it can also mean the software, the program running on that machine, like a web server or a game server, that's actually doing the work and handling requests.
So let's go back to our analogy. If the host is the building, then the server is the specific business you want to visit inside that building. Are you here for the restaurant on the first floor or the library up on the second? Each one is a different server, ready to serve you whatever you asked for, whether that's a web page or your latest emails.
All right, so we're at the right building, the host. We know which business we want to go to, the server. But, a big building has a lot of doors. How do we get to the right one? Well, that's where ports come in.
Okay, so a port isn't a physical thing you can see. It's more like a virtual doorway. It's just a number between 0 and 65,535 that the host's operating system uses to manage all the traffic. It sees a request coming in with a port number, and it goes, aha, I know exactly which application, which server program this chunk of data is meant for. It's kind of like the traffic director inside the building.
Let's imagine our restaurant again. It's got a main entrance, let's call it door number 80, for all the regular web traffic. But it also has a super secure armored entrance, door number 443, for any sensitive data that needs to be encrypted, HTTPS traffic. It's the same business, just different doorways for different kinds of requests. And here are some of the most famous, well-known doorways. These are standardized across the entire internet. So port 21 is for transferring files. 22 is for secure remote access, and of course 80 and 443 are for the web. This standardization is what lets your browser automatically knock on the right door without you ever having to think about it. It just works. And of course, all these hosts and servers and ports, they're all part of that massive global dance of data we talked about before. For a look at the entire journey of a single request, from your keyboard to a server and all the way back, definitely check out our first explainer on how the web works.
So far, we've been talking about buildings out on the big public internet. But what about when you're developing something new? You probably don't want to build it right there on a busy street for everyone to see. You need a private workshop. And that, my friends, is localhost.
Localhost is really just a special, reserved name that always means this computer I'm using right now. When you send a request to localhost, it does something called a loopback. The request doesn't go out to the internet at all. It just loops right back to your own machine. Your computer is literally talking to itself. And this is its secret identity. This is the famous reserved IP address for localhost. Just like Google.com has an IP address out on the internet, localhost has this special address that always means home. It tells the network, hey, don't go anywhere. The destination is right here. Think about it like this. Before a chef opens a fancy restaurant, they test out all their recipes in a private kitchen, right? Localhost is that private digital workshop. You can run a server,
build your website, smash all the bugs, and get everything perfect in a safe offline space before you ever deploy it to a public host for the world to see.
Okay, let's put it all together. We have the building, the business inside, the right door, and our private workshop. So how does all of that come together to create that command we saw at the very beginning, localhost 3000?
Here's how it plays out. You're on your computer, which is acting as the host. That's our whole building. You start up a development server program. Your test kitchen is officially open for business. That server listens for requests on a specific port, like 3000, a temporary side door you've picked just for development. And you access all of it by using the name localhost, your private unlisted address. See? Host, server, port, localhost. They all click together. When it comes down to it, these four concepts are the fundamental address system for the web. They tell data exactly where to go, what service to ask for, and which door to use, whether that's happening on a public server halfway across the world or right inside your own private workshop at 127.0.0.1. And that's really the big question, isn't it? Understanding these building blocks is the very first step to creating amazing things for the web. For more deep dives into tech concepts made simple, make sure you explore all the other content we have here at Duo Blocks Edx. Thanks for joining me, and happy building!